she's missing a great opportunity. You've got a month-long supply of blood, sis. Batch create content, batch paint. Use the blood that's rushing down your walls into your floorboards. Make paintings, sell them. That. What was that? Hello, everyone. It's spooky season. And what better way to spice up this glorious Sunday than reading for 24 hours? So, how this is gonna go, I'm gonna be reading spooky books. I'm going to be reading for 24 hours. However, I will not do what I have done in the past where I time myself for every second that I read. Because I lost two lives, can't be reincarnated for two more lives because of that video. It was hard. It was just, it was too much. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to be reading for 24 hours. However, I will be subtracting the big chunks of time where I do something else because for example I'm gonna be eating lunch or I'm gonna be watching a movie. I'm gonna subtract that to the duration. So I actually have so many books that I want to read this spooky season, and for some reason I haven't had the motivation to actually read faster like I used to because I'm distracted. I my screen time is just so high. It's affecting my brain chemistry and this has got to stop, and I want to read. I just mentally I can't. I don't have the mental power to read all of the books that I want to read, but just to show you, I made a notion to motivate myself, and actually my notion has popped off. It's so pretty. I want to read a lot of books in October, and I'm going to tell you what they are now, what I'm planning to read for this 24-hour reading vlog. So firstly, I've been reading Hellbent for a few days now and I'm just here. And I remember when I read Ninth House, I actually read that so fast, I think. But Ninth House is not my favorite. It's fine, but I did want to know how the story plays out in this book. So we're here, we're reading this, and I want to finish it. I really just want to finish it. Hellbent by Lee Bardugo. Basically, this is a dark academia, deals with secret societies, demons, rituals, the like. And this is an absolutely terrifying book cover. I don't know why. When I saw this, when it like came up, when it popped up on the Twitterverse, I was like, that's horrific. And then the next book that I want to read, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this year, but it's Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. So this is the 1818 text, and I've been wanting to read Frankenstein for so long, but I wanted to read it during spooky season, and obviously I haven't opened it. It still has a plastic on it, so I don't know if the language is going to be easy for me to read and finish today, but I will be starting this. And then the next one is this big book right here, Babel or Babel. I grew up calling it Babel, but I see people calling it Babel, Tower of Babel. It's been ingrained in my mind that it's Babel. So, for all intents and purposes, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to call it that because I know I'm just gonna mistake it throughout this whole video if I call it Babel and then
I'm just gonna be talking about it and be saying it like Babel. But yeah.
Babel. So, this is Rebecca F. Kwang's Dark Academia book, and I haven't read it because it's thick. and it has spider webs. Oh my god, I hope you can see it on camera. An arcane history. It's set in Oxford. I actually have not opened up a lot of like vlogs regarding this book because I don't want to spoil it for myself. So yeah. However, I'm going to be reading that last, I think, because I just know I won't be able to read it or finish it for this vlog. So at least if I read it last, I'm gonna be able to finish a good chunk of it. And then for the ebooks, I want to read The September House. So basically, this is a house that's haunted, and the residents in the house are kind of used to it by now, but for some reason, one of them leaves because they can't take it anymore. And it hits too close to home because our house is kind of haunted. Just last time, there was someone walking, like literally just here, and my mom could hear it. So I haven't read September House because I normally read in the night, and it's just I can't sleep normally as it is these days. I don't want to add to the horror of it all, you know? And then what else? Oh, I've been reading Assistant to the Villain because I've been hearing so much talk of it, and I read like a few pages, but I don't know if I'm low key going to DNF it or I won't finish it because right off the bat, the grammar, the word choices, I just can't deal with it. There are it's giving flashbacks to Once Upon a Broken Heart, but in the worst route, it's worse. So I don't know. I might try to read some of that. I literally just have read maybe 5 pages of it. Okay, so maybe those are the ones that I'm going to be reading. We don't want an overly ambitious TBR, I guess. And this video is already 9 minutes. I said I wasn't gonna be babbling too much like I always do. But let me know if you guys if it's if if you prefer it, if you accept me for who I am, never stopping my videos because I have so much to say, but yes. Oh, and also look at my freaking lips. This is the Bear and Bliss. Poppy Rosie? I don't know. Let's read. Hello everyone, I'm on page 182 of Hellbent, and dare I say this, I like this more than the first book. Although I can't remember much of the first book, I think that I just didn't like it as much. And this is just giving me different vibes. This is giving me more the type of more that I wanted to get from Ninth House, and that's probably like more demonic stuff and just puzzles and things to think about, I think. And yeah, I'm still not halfway through, but maybe I like this more than Ninth House. everyone, I'm on chapter 28 and something just happened and I am so frustrated. Like, come on. Oh my god. It's just, I can say without spoiling, but it's just so freaking frustrating. Hello, I'm here and I feel like things are about to go down and I'm here for it. I have my milk tea. It's normal milk tea with pearl jelly, 70% sugar. And that's where we're at. I never really liked milk tea before, but here we are. I drank it during the Twice concert, and I'm going on a tangent here, and I'm scared that this video is gonna be so long. Anyway, I had this particular milk tea during the Twice concert because my cousin wanted some, and there were a lot of like food places there at the arena, but she was already lined up there, and I didn't want to line up anywhere else because then I would have to wait so long. So then I just said, sure, I'll just get the same as you have because I'm starving and thirsty. So I got this, and surprisingly, I liked it, and I thought it was just the starvation making everything taste better. However, it still tastes better. And this is my knee. I'm sorry. That was just a weird bump there, but yeah, I'm gonna read. Let's get to it. The intense city is about to go up. Hello everyone, so I finished Hellbent and it's around 4 o'clock now, and yeah, I finished it. I binged it from like 200 pages, I believe, and so I feel like I'm gonna give this book 4 stars because I feel like I like this more than Ninth House. Actually, I don't know what rating I gave Ninth House. I read that so long ago, it feels like. But yeah, I feel like for me, what made this better than Ninth House is the cast of characters are more of like a team now, and you kind of follow them from start to finish, if that makes sense. Honestly, I don't remember much of Ninth House, but I think that there's nothing like that in the first book. And so I really enjoyed it in Hellbent, and yeah, all the things in here I enjoyed except for some passages I think I was a little bored, but nonetheless really good. And I'm shook with the ending of this. I didn't know it would be like that. That's what we have going on, and now I'm actually going to be starting the September house, I think, and that's because it's only like 4 p.m. as I said, so there's still time for me to not get scared reading it. And so yeah. Oh, and it's also very very dark right now, which is why I have the yellow light on. I'm sorry, the light here is yellow. I had to have this kind of light when I was studying for the exams. It's like an LED warm white that's very yellow. And anyway, it's really dark right now. It's been dark since around 3 p.m. because it's been raining so much. And I'm so happy that I have this little microphone right here so you can hear it. I'm kind of scared to read The September House. I'm not one to shy away from horror. I love horror. I'm just not partial to like gore. Like that's the thing that I don't love. I can watch it when it's like Bones, the what's that? The detective show. But when it's gore in a horror sense, I can't watch it, which is why I've never watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, things like that. For some reason, the September House, I feel like it's super scary. I don't think I have it on script, and I'm so sad because I have a lot of horror books that I had lined up on script, but then the limit got to me and I can't read them now. But yes. Hello everyone. So I'm literally just a few pages into the September house and I have some thoughts, darkly humorous, doesn't really have substance thoughts. So basically, this book is about this family who moves into a home. They saw it in an ad on a newspaper, I think, and it's a Victorian home because obviously it's gonna be a Victorian home. It's always a Victorian home. I don't know why, but they just feel like this is their forever home. This home is perfect. So they move in, and then during September, the house bleeds. So literally, it bleeds from the top floor down, and then it goes on through the whole month. And in October, it's gone. It's gone. And so at first, they said that it was like a leak, but then I would be like, what kind of leak is red? Like, that level of denial is unparalleled. That level of delusion. But I guess Delulu is the Sululu. But yeah, and then the wife, she stays in this house because the husband, he goes away on the fourth year, basically, that they live there. And she's alone in the house. And she's just like, I'm used to this. And all I want to do is paint. And I'm just there thinking, she's missing a great opportunity. You've got a month long supply of blood, sis. Batch create content, batch paint. Use the blood that's rushing down your walls into your floorboards. Make paintings, sell them. That, what was that? But yeah, like, sis, just let the world know that you have this haunted house and sell the paintings using the blood from the haunted house. A lot of creeps, weirdos would buy that. Literally. A lot of dumb people out there buy cursed stuff. Why would they not buy paintings using blood from a haunted house? Also, a more realistic thought of mine. I don't know why I'm doing like this. Like, more realistic thought of mine, I guess, is that why don't they just leave the house during September? It just happens in September, since you don't have to stay in the house during September. It's literally leaking blood. You can step on it. It's disgusting. It's a health hazard. We don't know where we got this blood. Did they not think of DNA testing the blood as well? Like, what if it's just a prank? Someone's just putting blood in their gutters or something, and then it leaks inside their house and they do it for the whole month. I don't know. But if that's the case, if that's the story, I would be so annoyed. Because there's nothing that I hate more than a horror story in a supernatural sense, and then in the end they're just like, yeah, it's not really a ghost, it's just someone messing with you. No. I want the ghost version, so please. I've been saying a lot, but this book is fun. And it's already like 6 o'clock, I think. I've just been chatting with a friend and just laughing at myself. Let's read some more of the September House and just have fun with it. Hello everyone, I'm 47% of the way through with the September House, but it's like 11 p.m. now, and it's getting a little bit creepy, and I want to sleep, without too many lingering thoughts. So I'll probably read Assistant to the Villain until I fall asleep, and then I will continue with the September House tomorrow. Hello everyone. I have to be honest, it's been 2 days since I talked to you guys, but I just had a lot of stuff going on. And yeah, I had classes to do and to attend, and homeworks, a paper, and yeah, I truly underestimated the time that I needed to finish them, and I didn't realize that the deadline was yesterday or today. The deadline is today, and I really thought the deadline was going to be tomorrow because you have to convert the time, and yeah, I converted it wrong the first time around, but at least now I'm done with nuclear fission. My brain turned to mush, so that's also some of the time that I took off in the past 2 days because I had to cram it all in my lovely, lovely brain, and it was just too much. Anyway, what I've been doing actually, number one, classes, as I said, and then I built this like book cabinet. I had to transfer. If you have been watching my reading vlogs or vlogs for a while, you know that I have a bookshelf that's wooden and something happened to it, so I had to transfer the books in this metal cabinet. And so, yeah, that's what I've been doing. I made this cabinet and then I put the books in here. Let me know if you guys want a tour of my bookshelf because now I have one and then I have two, three. They're all over the place. I just had to cram them where there's space. And then I also went to the bookstore. It was actually just a grocery run. I had to go with my mom. I was initially gonna drive her, but yeah. Anyway, details not important, but I went to the bookstore as well in the mall where the grocery is where we buy our food, and I saw a couple of books and some classic books that are these newer, I think, editions that I don't know if they're new, but I just saw them like right now. So I got the first one I got is Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I was initially gonna buy the Penguin English Library Classics of this one, but this is way cheaper. I have these Collins Classics a lot because they're cheap. And so yeah. I also don't know if there's stock of the Penguin English Library Classics of this, and it's not really a need to have the right edition, but it's fine. Northanger Abbey is a gothic novel by Jane Austen, and I just wanted the gothic vibes. I actually saw this in Emma's recommendations of books to read for October, so there's that. Northanger Abbey. And then And then this book is funny because I saw these white classics on the bookshelves and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the first time I've seen these. They look quite nice, being like minimalist and aesthetic on there, and it's actually from an Indian press. And yeah, this is the first time that I've seen these editions of classics, and I just thought they were cute, and they're also fairly cheap. It's I got this for 225 pesos, so 225, a dollar, a US dollar is like 50, around 50 pesos, so it's like $4 or a bit more than that. And then when I checked out and the cashier was so concerned with me, and she said that this book is, well, what she actually said was, ne ang kapal naman nito, like, which basically means girl or child. Girl, this is so thick. Yeah. Anyway, and she asked me um who the author was, the brothers Karamazov. And this is what I'm talking about. How cool. Like, they're just cool looking. So yeah, I got this. It's a literal brick if you compare it to Northanger Abbey. Hold on. Oh my god. I'm probably gonna read this for quite some time. And it's actually one of my mom's favorite books. She remembers she really enjoyed reading this. So I kind of want to read it as well. And then reading wise, I actually read for an hour and 30 minutes last night, and I finally finished The September House. I rated it 5 stars, I think. 4 or 5. I think 5. It's not my favorite horror. It's not particularly life changing, but I really enjoyed it. And basically, it's about. Oh, I already said this. If you want a recap, it's about this house where this couple lives, and the house has ghosts, and it leaks blood everywhere, and they've just come to accept it. But the husband, after quite some time, after 4 years, he was like, I cannot do this anymore. And so we just follow them and their daughter trying to live. And if you really like The Haunting of Hill House, it's reminiscent of that, wherein there's this ghost story, but there's this backdrop of the evil and the just the bad events that happened in their life before, and it has this kind of lingering confusion as to what's really happening, what's really true, what is the house really haunted, is it in their minds, are they just mentally ill, stuff like that. It's very Haunting of Hill House like, but obviously nothing can top The Haunting of Hill House for me. And so yeah, that's The September House. I highly recommend it. It's quite creepy to read at night, but by the end, you're kind of like used to it as well, which is weird, which is really weird. And then for the assistant to the villain, I am DNFing it. I cannot. I cannot. I tried. I think that was the last clip where I was talking to you guys, that I said that I was gonna read The Assistant to the Villain because September House is too creepy to read at night. And so my thoughts, the stylistic choices when it comes to grammar, word choice, I don't vibe with it. I don't like it. I think there's a lot of work to be done line editing wise, and some parts really feel like a first draft to me, where you just, or maybe a second draft, I don't know, but it just needs more work. It needs more. Like, it's there, but it just needs more. And the choices, as I said, it takes you out of the story because you're like, huh? What what do you mean? Why are you phrasing it this way? It's just very disconcerting. It's almost like you're reading it to edit it, kind of. That's what it feels like to me. And also, I get that it's supposed to be this funny, ironic story where it's just quirky and you're the assistant to the villain. I mean, the girl is the assistant to the villain, and that's just cool. It's a cool concept, but it just sits in the middle for me. If this is, well, we should do it like this. If this is the standard, or this is the path that the author wanted to take, as far as it being ironic and funny and just this absurd but cool idea, it just sits right here. It didn't take it fully over here, and you just know that it would have been so much better if you just pushed it more. You know that show Disenchantment, where it's very ironic and funny and sarcastic? Make that less sarcastic and less ironic and less funny, and you get something that doesn't know what it wants to be. Ultimately, I just didn't care for the story. I didn't want my like to put myself into this difficulty and challenge. I don't know. I just didn't care for it, so I'm DNFing it, which is so sad because I just think that the concept is really nice, even if a lot of people say that it's not really like I don't know. They're just saying that it's like an office romance, and that's not what they expected. But for me, an office romance is fine. But it just didn't take it there. Didn't take it there for me. So, not doing that. I'm so sorry to the people who like this book and are offended. I mean, you shouldn't be, but if you are. So now I'm actually going to read the next book, which is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And I already opened it. It's not in the packaging anymore, and it's very floptastic. Floppy. But yeah, this is my next read, and I have 16 more hours to read. So I feel like I'm gonna be able to finish this and start with Babel as well. Oh wow, I didn't know that it had letters. That's pretty cool. Just has, it's not all letters. There's full on chapters. I think the letters are just in the beginning, which is very cool. I love letters in books. There's, let's see, four letters? Yeah, I think four letters. Very excited. This is actually one of the classics that I'm very excited to read. I don't know why. It's just does something to my brain when I think about it. When I think about reading it, you know? So yeah, cool. My hair's a mess. Oh my god, it's falling. It's falling from the clamp. Yeah, you don't need to know that, but hello. Hello everyone, I'm on chapter 6 of Frankenstein, and I'm actually flying through this quite quickly, quicker than how I've read the other classics that I've read, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Just the use of the language and just how beautiful this work of literature is. It's just so good. And yeah, there's just this use of the word material pertaining to obviously human parts, because we all know that Frankenstein's monster is made up of different human parts, and just the word choice of using material is just so, it's just one of those very specific words and choices that I really, really appreciate. It just gives us this, because it's in first person view, so it kind of gives us a peek into how much distance Victor Frankenstein has made. Like, just this endeavor is not even close to humanity. I don't know. I can't explain it. But if you think about just using the word materials for human parts, it just gives you this inkling that he kind of wants to distance himself into recognizing that these are human remains. These are not just random materials that are lying around. I don't know, just so good. And then it made me think about how knowledge is power and how people obviously chase power, and knowledge is one of them, and just how obsessed he became with this endeavor. It gives you a peek into a mind of someone who is just obsessed. I don't know why I had to like try to explain that, but yeah, it's just so cool. And you know that it's just not like for science, it's not just that. It has this kind of godly power to him, because it ultimately it deals with life. If he can create life, he would be something like a god, or something higher and better than other humans, I guess. Or maybe he was just sick and obsessed and lacking sleep. We don't know what's happening, but we know that he has become obsessed because he's been working on this monster, or like this creature, for nearly 2 years. And throughout that, he can kind of just become a recluse. He's just focused on this one thing in his life, and that is to actually make a monster. Well, he didn't intend for it to be a monster, but it's what it became in his eyes, and it's just so cool and very dark academia like how far can you take science, and how far can you just push yourself, I guess. Oh god, this is gonna be a long vlog. I would have the best time editing it, but here we are. Oh, and then also, as I said, the language is just so good, and this one particular sentence is just, yeah, it's just one sentence. So, this one, it caught my attention, and it says, "One secret which I alone possessed was the hope to which I had dedicated myself. And the moon gazed on my midnight labors, while, with unrelaxed and breathless eagerness, I pursued nature to her hiding places." It's just, how can a person rip that out of their brain, put it on paper? It's just, I was just, oh my god, I love reading so much. I love reading stuff like this so much. I love appreciating all of the little details and the use of words. I just love that. I'm gonna be reading more because I want to read more. And even though I know, oh my god, my posture, even though I know already what's gonna happen, obviously, I just want to read it. It's just so freaking good. So freaking good. What else should I say? It's just so good. Oh, and it's also been raining, so I've resorted to just being directly under the translucent roof part of our house. So we're here. I'm reading here. I should probably get my glasses, but they're downstairs and I'm lazy. Good morning, everyone. I have my cold brew, which I accidentally made very strong, but here we are. So yeah, anyway, good morning. My face is very bloated because last night I had some chapaghetti and some shrimp chips and some salted egg chips. So that's why I look like a marshmallow. But that's gonna dissipate, I hope, in the next few hours. It's still very early in the morning. So yeah, last night I actually finished Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and oh boy, do I have some thoughts. I actually rated this 5 stars, and I was debating on whether I should rate it 4 stars or 5 stars because in terms of my preference for it or my like how I liked the story itself, it's maybe a 4 stars. It's not my absolute favorite. However, the use of the language and just how much of a very genius and cool idea this is and how it was executed so well made it 5 stars for me. Like, let's give Mary Shelley credit for making this amazing book. And so, yeah, I think that this book is quite revolutionary, and it was actually published anonymously, if I remember correctly from reading the introduction. And so, when they realized that the author was actually a woman, they were outraged, they were scandalized, and it just shows you how much women had to go through to have the rights that we do have right now. And although it's not perfect still, it's it's far improved from how they had it back then. And I see how much scandal it would have caused because this book includes science, it includes morality, values, and just it's something that perhaps a very reserved person would not produce. However, when they met Mary Shelley, they described her as quiet and feminine, and they actually expected her to be quite masculine. And I think that this also kind of transcends to what we have in our society right now, like the double standards that we have, although it's not probably not discussed in the book. I just thought of it. But there's this kind of thing where we demonize or villainize the very feminine women in our society, and it's just not good. Like, even if you are very feminine, if you just prefer very very feminine stuff, it doesn't take away from your value, it doesn't take away from anything regarding your capabilities. So I just thought that it was very cool. And yeah, Frankenstein, let's talk about the book itself. I think that it was a very, very cool concept. The monster is there to evoke some kind of emotion from us, some kind of questions for us in terms of humanity and what we consider human and what we consider monsters, I think. And at the back, it actually says that one way to read the text is to approach it as a doppelganger story, wherein Victor Frankenstein is represented in the different characters in the book. And I thought that it was a very cool take on it. And for me, I took it a bit on the opposite side, wherein the characters were there to show us what Victor had missed. Kind of like that. For example, they said that from Elizabeth and from Henry Clerval, it represents Victor's heart. And I think that it's the opposite, and it just provides you with great contrast as to what Victor could have been. Like, it gives you a better environment for him to thrive as this miserable and just gloomy character, because if you have people around him that are sunshiny, that have hope, that are loving, you can kind of compare and contrast them with Victor and how he is in life and how melancholy and how pessimistic he is. And that was just so cool to me. And yeah, I don't think there's a formula to how we approach a certain literature, a certain, I mean, piece of literature, but that's just how I took it. And they were saying that, like, who is really the monster, Victor, or like the creature, Frankenstein's creature. And for me, I think that Victor was really the monster. I feel like I didn't really get that. I mean, I guess, because I was thinking of whether if is Victor real, is Victor accountable for the sins of his creation? I don't know. It was just, which is why I am still thinking about this book, because who really was at fault? They both did horrible things. But I don't know. I can't answer that, but it just shows you how much this book is going to make you think about humanity and morality, and it's just so good. It's also very accessible. I just want to tell you that it's even more accessible than the most accessible book, classic book that I've read, which was The Picture of Dorian Gray. So I really thought that I would be reading this quite long, like for a long time, but I flew through this because it was just very accessible. It's not hard to read at all. So yeah, that's Mary Shelley, Frankenstein. I actually still have 9 hours left. Yes, I counted it last night. I still have 9 hours left, which I didn't I didn't expect to still have a lot of hours left after Frankenstein. And maybe it's ambitious to say that I will be able to finish the next book in the next 9 hours, but we'll see. But anyway, to prepare for the next book, I actually wore my university merch, not sponsored. Like, they won't sponsor anything, obviously. Anyway, I just wore my university shirt. It's maroon and white. If you want, I can wear my university cap. Which, anyway, if you can guess what the next book is, good job. But yeah, the next book is Babel or Babel, an arcane history. And this is set, oh, that's a brick. Hold on. And this is set in Oxford. I think I said that Hellbent was set in Oxford, but it's actually this book, and Hellbent was set in Yale University. And so this is Babel by R.F. Kuang, and this is a very, very hyped dark academia book. Everybody says that it's amazing. And so yeah, I've had this for quite some time, and I just had it on here on my TBR pile. And finally I have time to actually absorb it and read it and enjoy it on a very rainy day. It's very cold actually, which is why I'm wearing this cardigan. But yeah, Babel. I purposely did not watch any vlogs and any anything that would spoil me for Babel, because I wanted to just approach it tabula rasa. Like, no thoughts in my brain beforehand. So yeah, I have Babel. As you can see, I have the hardcover edition, which I never buy. But at the time, I really wanted to have a copy of Babel, and there was no paperback yet, I think. And so it just begs a question on whether I should have just waited for the paperback, because paperback's been out for so long now, and this is just the time that I'm reading it. So anyway, we have Babel, and I'm very excited to read it. Oh, it has spider webs as well. Very on brand. I'm kind of scanning it, and it does not have Bible pages, and the text is not as small as I imagined. So I'm very happy about that. There's around 600 page, 538, 540, 500 plus pages. I can read this fast. However, I want to really absorb it. Perhaps annotate it. So yeah. Anyway, let's actually start reading. You know, I'm just here talking to you guys. And yeah. Oh, and also, if this vlog isn't as long as it is now, anyway, just a little story. I woke up this morning, checked my emails because I'm a professional. Kidding. I don't know why I do that to myself. Anyway, I checked my emails, deleted some of the spam, deleted the unimportant ones, and then I saw the real horror. Like, you guys know how much struggle I had with the last set of lectures and how I crammed those because the deadline is like the time allotted was quite short. And then I got an email that the next set of lectures are out. And the deadline is November 14th, which I don't know how many lectures there are. I don't know if there's another paper, but I'm scared. And I do not want to experience once again cramming a set of lectures and cramming a paper and just, yeah. Probably after this vlog, I'll do some of the lectures, some of the homeworks, some of the papers if there is. But yeah, if you're looking for some dark academia, that's the real dark academia, I guess. That's my little tangent for the day. I really think this is gonna be an hour long vlog by now, but it's my own fault for adding books that I actually enjoy and want to talk about. Can you see my eye bags too? Oh my god. That's not from lack of sleep, that's from the chapaghetti. I love Asian salty food. Okay. Okay, bye. Hello everyone. So it's actually been quite a while since I last filmed, and it's because I'm actually sick. I got sick. So I really wasn't in the mood to film. I didn't have the energy. I just wanted to lay down in bed, and I am still kind of sick, but at least I can now talk to you guys. So in terms of the hours left, I have, I think, 5 hours or 4 hours left. And while I wasn't filming, I was actually going through Crooked House for like a while, and I read that for maybe 2.5 hours. I have all the hours in my phone. But yeah, anyway, so I finished Crooked House by Agatha Christie, and if you know what Knives Out is, like the movie is actually quite like that. So I was really excited to read that, and I was just reading it slowly while I was in bed. And to be honest, I give it 3 stars because I didn't really enjoy it that much. Maybe because I know like some renditions of it that are just more exciting. Like I didn't really care for the story. It's probably because I already know that it can be done in a more exciting way. So essentially, it's about this guy who is in love with one of the members of the family of like the what's their Leonides family. I don't know how to pronounce it, but the family that lives in the crooked house, and the grandfather dies, and obviously they investigate it, and the guy's dad is the assistant chief of police, something like that. So then he just goes in this house. He kind of investigates it in a way where he's in the middle of them all. Like he is in love with this girl, obviously, and they have this sort of relationship, and he also has a relationship with the police, obviously, and the girl knows about it, and the people know about it that he is the son of the assistant chief police. And so he's just there. He's basically the one who lets you go throughout the story, the clues, and it was just not it. It was just not exciting. And I've read an Agatha Christie book before, and it was Murder on the Orient Express, and that was much more exciting and thrilling, and there were a lot of stakes involved, and I really didn't care for the ending as well for Crooked House, just because I kind of guessed it, and like I don't know, there's these clues, but it's not like you're there trying to figure it out. Like I don't know, like people had motive but not enough motive, so you'll know that it's not really them, and the ending was just kind of mediocre. I don't know, I just I didn't vibe with the story. Yeah, that's it. That's why I gave it 3 stars, but I still would be picking up an Agatha Christie story in the future. I hope it's gonna be better than Crooked House because I had a lot of expectations. But anyway, for the remaining time, I'd still be reading Babel. I removed the dust jacket, and I'm really loving this so far. The use of language, I feel like I've said that a lot in this video pertaining to Frankenstein, but this is just so good. Babel is so good, and I'm probably gonna read it very slowly because when I really enjoy the prose of a novel, I tend to just annotate it a lot and reread it a lot, so I take much more time reading it than I would if I was just going through the story in a normal pace. But yeah, I'm about here. Not much progress so far, but we still have a few hours left. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna drink a lot of water. And my Gojo water bottle that actually displays the temperature 28 degrees. It's much colder. The real feel is much colder than that. But yeah, my throat is getting itchy now, so I'll stop talking and just read. Hello everyone, so we've finally reached the end of this vlog. Who knew? I've actually edited this vlog already without this outro and it's already an hour long, so if you're still here, if you're still with me, recommend me any book in the comment section down below or just comment an emoji or something just to say that you're still here. So yeah, before I fully end the vlog, I will be talking to you about the last 3 books that I read for this 24-hour reading vlog, starting with the first volume of Jujutsu Kaisen. So I think this was gifted to me by Kat. So Kat, if you're watching, thank you so much. I really think this was the manga that she gifted me. But yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen, if you aren't new here or have been watching my videos from like 2021 or I don't know, you'll know that I really love Jujutsu Kaisen, so I just wanted to read the manga again. And I've actually been reading a lot of manga the past few days, so if you follow me on Goodreads, you'd know that I've been binging a lot of manga volumes. So yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen, always legendary, iconic, we love to see it. If you have watched season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen, please do not tell me about it. I know I've read it, but please do not tell me anything about it. I haven't started the anime yet, so yeah, no spoilers here, please. We've had enough of Jujutsu Kaisen spoilers on the internet, and I'm just heartbroken. And then the next manga that I finished was actually Chainsaw Man Volume 13, I believe, and this is the second volume of the new Academy saga arc. I haven't read a lot of Chainsaw Man the past, like before this time, because I just couldn't get into it yet because we have like a completely new story and we only have one character that's recurring from the previous arc, and I just had a hard time accepting that that is our reality now as Chainsaw Man readers. Actually, after I've read Chainsaw Man Volume 13, I've read the subsequent volumes, and I'm proud to say that I am starting to accept it. It's fun, it's new, and we have characters which are, to be honest, quite interesting. So I foresee myself reading a lot of Chainsaw Man volumes, maybe later, just in the next days. And then Babel, this is the last book and the reason as to why I actually started reading the mangas again. And yeah, I reached 154 pages just there. It's actually not as hefty as I would have imagined it to be. I thought it would be like 800 pages or something, but the paper is not thin, so it's actually like just 500 pages and the text is not small, so it's actually pretty easy and fast to read. But the reason why I took a break from it is because it does deal a lot with like racism and just a lot of heavy topics, and racism is probably the most prominent in it. And I actually understand the people who have said that this book is kind of direct to the point and it's so like out there kind of. And what I'm saying is that it doesn't shy away from talking about topics such as racism, and it doesn't discuss it in like a vague sense. It discusses it in a very direct sense, and I think that it's the kind of approach which would kind of shock some people. I don't know. I just think that that's what they were talking about because now I've seen some vlogs and they said that it's quite direct, and I didn't understand it at first, but now I understand it why they say that it's very direct. And for me, it's not a bad choice to discuss. It's not a bad choice to discuss these topics in this kind of direct way that RF Kong has chosen. It's not bad. It doesn't take away from the story itself, and it actually, for me, enhances it a lot more, because if you're directly saying these things, because I don't know, it's very kind of like if you're hearing a friend talk about racism and women's rights, stuff like that. I guess that's how it feels like. So maybe some people would be taken out of the story, but I think for me, in my own opinion, it enhances it because it doesn't make you think too hard to absorb the important aspects and important issues that it wishes to convey. You're not struggling to firstly understand the world, to understand the magic system. You don't have to struggle in understanding the characters and even struggle with understanding these issues that are presented in the book because it's kind of already there. It's already guiding you to fully understanding the text. So for me, it's really good. And also the magic system is this. Why am I still holding it? It is so heavy. Maybe I'll just do it like this. Now I kind of look strange. But yeah, the magic system is really interesting. It mainly deals with silver, and it's not really a spoiler, I think, but it's just cool how the magic system is based on silver and word, and it's just cool. It's very cool. And just thinking about it, like if it really exists in real life, how that could really potentially raise some questions about morality and humanity and equality, social justice, big words. But yeah, that's Babel. And actually, I'm just, if you haven't read this as well, and if you're procrastinating reading it, I would say just read it. I actually messaged one of my seniors in university, and I was like, Ate Bea, you have to read it now because she told me before that she also hasn't started it, and she up until now, I think she still hasn't started it, but she said that another friend told her to start it as well. So maybe it's a sign. And yeah, it is a sign because please read this book. But yeah, that's the 24-hour reading vlog coming to a close. And I realized that I always underestimate myself when it comes to 24-hour reading vlogs. And I think I won't be able to read a lot, and I end up reading too much and have to talk too much. But yeah, I hope you really enjoy longer vlogs because this is probably the longest vlog that I've done. So yeah, without further ado, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!